Let's continue to the next principle, which is going to be using assertive discipline. Now, assertive discipline involves being consistent, acting quickly, and very prepared to do what you're supposed to be doing throughout the time that you're going to be out with your child. Now, what we're going to do are some strategies of assertive discipline. The first one will be prepare in advance. Now, we know that kids actually get comfortable, like they need to actually be familiar with the things that you're doing. Okay, so what you do most of the time is just try to get as ready as you can, like pack lunch bowl, pack drinks that they might actually need. And if you're going out and it feels like, okay, maybe you might be out during the lunchtime, why not pack up the food that you'll be having or make up a bottle that you've been carrying with you, right? And then the second one will be arranging activities. Now kids get bored easily. They do get bored, and we want them to be active. We want them to be involved into something, because until they're busy, they're going to make sure that you're busy too. If they're not busy doing something, writing up or playing with something that you packed up for them, they actually try to misbehave. They try to get in trouble just to get attention, because what they need is attention. So we try to get as ready as possible and arrange activities that we're going to pack with us, that's going to keep our babies interested and fully motivated to do something that they actually want to do. Now, the third one is going to be setting ground rules. Now, we want to just select a few rules for our kids that we're going to actually implement with them, and we're going to say, hey, we're going to do this and that. And of course, every household have their own rule, but we try to actually say, we want to do this, we're trying to do that. And you explain that to your children in a way that it'll be easier for them to actually understand, and they know they cannot actually assert from that. Otherwise, there will be consequences. That's actually helping our children be mindful of others, be mindful of what they're doing. So we want to actually set those rules, and we want to be mindful of their age, because sometimes we do set the rules that are not appropriate for their age. And we have to see what is most important, because if we give them so many rules, it's hard to remember all of them. So we try to give them as little as possible, but make it consistent. And so that they know that, okay, if this rule is broken, there's going to be consequences to that. If this rule is broken, mommy might not be happy, and if mommy is not happy, she might actually get upset and put me in timeout, or just treat me in a way that I might not like, because she's going to actually have to, positive, and just encouraging the baby to do positive stuff. So what we're trying to do is actually have the baby realize that, hey, any action have consequences. Good behavior, good consequences. Bad behavior, bad consequences. And we try to set that up with them. Now, praising good behavior. We want the children to realize that, hey, whenever I'm doing something good, mommy sees it too. It's not just when I'm throwing myself on the floor or having a tantrum that mommy realizes that there's something, and then I get in trouble for it. Whenever they're acting good too, maybe they clean up their toys, or they picked up their shoes, they were able to pick up their socks and put them in a dirty laundry bag. Say, hey, good job for picking up your socks. You did an amazing job. Kids feel love, they feel the attention, they feel that this behavior is being praised, it's being welcomed. So they actually tend to do that the most. They try to do everything that we want, please them, because they actually want that attention. Now, if everything that they do that is pretty good, we don't pay attention to, we just look at it as, hey, you know what, you're supposed to do it anyway. They realize, okay, if she's not paying attention, maybe I might just throw myself on the floor. That would definitely get her attention. So we try to keep kids in control and actually in charge of what we want them to be doing, but making them empowered. We let them know that, hey, you got this, you actually are the baby, so you're okay. So, anyone have a question?
Yes. For example, every time I take my daughter somewhere, she acts out.
Okay. Did you try talking to your daughter? Did you try explaining where you're actually going and what you're going to be doing?
Not really.
Not really. Did anybody else have that issue and they tried talking to the baby?
Well, my daughter used to always act out when we would go new places.
Uh-huh.
So I tried to talk to her and explain where we're going, and ever since I started doing that, she is like so much better when she
Yes.
knows what's coming and what to expect. It's like a total difference.
Again, kids are very predictable, so we try to actually explain it for them to follow up. Until they know, they really are worried. They don't know what's going on, so they misbehave, and we only see that misbehavior part. We don't see the other part. So it'll be good to actually explain. Does anyone have any other questions?
I do have a question, so where we struggle is every time we go to like the store or out to run errands, and it's like around lunchtime or something, my daughter always has a meltdown when she gets hungry, like always. And I try to schedule our errands and everything around lunchtime, but sometimes I can't.
Okay.
But it's like every time she has a meltdown and we have to leave wherever we are because it's just crazy.
Did you try packing up, getting ready in advance, like having Lunchable in your bag for her?
No,
Because
I
time
always
might actually
forget.
run sometimes.
I always forget.
Again, we have to prepare in advance. Get the food that she might actually need. Did anybody have this experience, and how did it go?
Yes, my daughter used to do the exact
Uh-huh.
same thing.
Okay.
And so I started doing that. I start packing up snacks,
Okay.
and that's how she started doing better.
Did it help?
A lot.
That's good. Because we actually want them to feel confident. Whenever they want something, they need something, they try to actually get that attention somewhere else. So we want them to be happy. And as much as we have to carry all this, I know it's a lot to carry, having the bag with the diapers and wipes. Sometimes we don't think about packing snacks, food, like little bit of stuff. They actually pack fruits.
I always forget, but I'll try.
Okay, that's really good.